Hello and welcome to the show. It is April 8th, 2022. I wasn't planning to make this video, so this will be a very quick video. Let me start by saying that I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This information is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. So today I recently heard that Fidelity is no longer allowing buys of MMTLP. So I was going to talk about what this means and how it affects my overall plans. So I found out via Twitter that some people are having some issues with Fidelity, and they can't buy MMTLP as a result. They're getting weird messages that says the security is restricted from online opening trades or restricted to closing trades only. Okay, contact a Fidelity representative for more information. Some other people on Twitter said, hey, they can buy via TD Ameritrade, so all is not lost here. Okay, so TD Ameritrade appears to be available. And this one person, J911M, has said they tried on Fidelity and they couldn't buy. They said, don't kill the messenger. So they did speak to a representative, and the representative assured them that if you own MMTLP and you bought it on the OTC, that a dividend would be honored. Okay, so if you bought and held MMTLP over the OTC in Fidelity, Fidelity will honor that dividend payment which may or may not come, but I believe there will be a dividend, of course. Okay, here's someone else. He also tried TD Ameritrade, and with TD Ameritrade, it says, hey, I'm able to buy. Great. So we're getting multiple reports. Again, I have not checked into this personally, but some people on Twitter are having issues with Fidelity. So if this concerns you, you may want to contact Fidelity. You may want to contact Fidelity directly. It looks like you can no longer buy MMTLP through Fidelity. It looks like you can still sell. And it looks like Fidelity will honor the dividend payment. TD Ameritrade seems to have no problems. Okay, so that's what it appears to be today. So for me personally, I own MMTLP in Fidelity brokerage accounts, and I plan to just hold on to it until the dividend actually gets paid out, because I believe that the dividend could be significant. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. These are just my own personal plans that I'm sharing. Fidelity has indicated that they will honor the dividend, so that's a big deal. And most of my personal holdings are within Fidelity itself anyway, so Fidelity is key for me. I'd rather not change brokerages. Now, I still plan to reinvest the dividend, or a portion of that dividend, back into metamaterials. Okay, there has been this metamaterials Torchlight preferred shares family feud going on. I think one good thing about this Fidelity not allowing buys is that it'll probably be the end of the family feud for whatever reason, right? I think that the dividend will be significant. I think Fidelity will honor it, and I believe that if that dividend or a portion of that dividend is reinvested back into MMAT, that there are not enough shares of MMAT available to buy. So I believe that the price of MMAT could increase substantially as a result of buying just from that dividend alone. So I'm not an original Torchlight shareholder. I don't have Torchlight shares. I was not a Torchlight shareholder, so I feel glad to have had the opportunity to buy MMTLP via Fidelity. Right, I'm glad of that opportunity myself, and I'm glad that I did buy. I'm glad that I actually executed that option to buy, because now I can't buy anymore. But fortunately, I have enough for what I am happy with. I recently bought some last week, and I'm quite happy with how much I have. Would I like to be able to buy more in the future? Of course, but I can't, so okay, I'll just deal with it. So this will affect my plans, but it probably won't affect it too much. Here's what I mean. So it will cause some slight changes. This is my current, what I like to call high-risk plays, right? You got Canberra Energy, GameStop, Metamaterials, Torchlight Preferred Shares, and Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. Again, this is my personal plans. I'm not advising anyone to do what I do. This is just what I'm doing, okay? So my plan was that whichever one of these things, pays out first, I was going to reinvest into what hasn't paid out first, right? So the rest are still bargains. I still believe in those. So for instance, let's just say Canberra Energy. Let's say that skyrocketed first, right? In that case, I would reinvest back into GameStop, Metamaterials, Torchlight Preferred Shares. I wasn't planning to reinvest the Canberra funds back into Grayscale because I have a fair amount of Grayscale already. Again, these are my personal plans, so for me personally, I would reinvest into Grayscale at a later time because I have enough Grayscale right now. So, what is that? How does this change my plans? Of course, well, with Fidelity, I can't buy MMTLP, right? So that's no longer an option. So that means that one reinvestment line goes away. You can only go back into GameStop and MMAT. Okay, so I'll deal with that. If, on the other hand, MMTLP takes off first, I plan to reinvest that back into Canberra Energy, GameStop, and Metamaterials, of course, right? So whichever one takes off first, reinvest in the others, with the exception that I can no longer buy MMTLP now, right? So here's what a possible trajectory might be, right? Say Canberra Energy takes off first, right? Then I can't reinvest back into Canberra Energy because that's the one that took off, of course. I would be reinvesting into GameStop and Metamaterials, right? And let's just say the MMTLP shares then, then pays out. Let's say that the dividend pays out quite well. At that point, I would reinvest that back into GameStop and into MMAT. So there you go. Let's say that one of the other three takes off. Let's just say the GameStop pays out then. Well, if that happens, then I reinvest the GameStop profits into Metamaterials and into GBTC at that point. At that point, the amount of investment into GBTC for me personally would be meaningful. It may or may not be meaningful for you guys or whatever, right? This is why I say this is my own personal plans, right? Anyway, at that point, you go back into those, right? So as you can see, the investment is growing with each profit that occurs. And finally, when Metamaterials takes off, the only thing left that I could reinvest back into is Grayscale, right? The Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. So that's one possible trajectory. Do I think this trajectory will happen? I don't know. But I'm open for any possible trajectory. And I'm open for any possible trajectory with my reinvestment plan, right? That's what I plan to do. Anyway, just giving you an update. So with that, I was just going to end the show. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This information is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. And it looks like Fidelity has some issues with the purchase, but not the payout of the MMTLP dividends, right? So it looks like you can't buy MMTLP via Fidelity. But check with your broker. And that's it. So with that, good night.